Good evening, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sly Geordie, and welcome back to F123 My Team Career Mode for the Qatar Grand Prix in Season 2. If you missed last episode, well, you could probably see it already. What an occasion it was. It wasn't the best for us personally. Probably, I think it was our worst result of the season so far, but that was because we were trying to finally get our second driver to points. For the first time, a second driver in the Sly Team Racing team has gotten points. Lance Stroll secured P8 in the Singapore Grand Prix. We secured P9. So for the first time, not only did the second driver score points, but it was the first double points for the team. So yeah, we've got some new sponsors coming in now, and it's about time, quite frankly, because you know, obviously we're getting bigger as a team now. Obviously we're getting really close to winning the championship, and so obviously we're going to want better sponsors to give us more money. Sorry, I'm saying obviously so often. I think there was another episode a while back that we did where I had that same issue as well with my commentary, but whatever. I'm sure nobody cares about it. But yeah, we're going for these new sponsors now. I didn't know really what to go with. Of course, beating our rival during a race is a big one. There is a big problem with this one though, as I'm unsure if I even want to bother getting a new rival after beating Verstappen, which we are going to beat Verstappen. We're only like 2 points off, so basically all we need to do is finish the race and we get points. So like, and that's either race because it's a sprint weekend. So yeah, now bringing that into the equation, we might have to start a little rivalry in between. I don't know, either that or we're just not going to get any money from that sponsor other than the weekly income. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, these other sponsors are okay. I really didn't know what I wanted to go with, but I think we go with Asiatic Dynamics. Of course, that's achieve at least one podium position with the team, within the team, so they give us a good weekly bonus as well. And yeah, going into our car liveries now, we're going to put these new sponsor decals on, of course. Yeah, the car has pretty much reached its last in terms of like R&D. I don't think we're going to add too much more on, and that's assuming we're getting new regulations, but it is Season 2, obviously. We already got new regulations in Season 1, so if we have no new regulations going into this Grand Prix, then yeah, I think we can continue upgrading the car, which is going to be amazing. I think one of the biggest mistakes we did make in Season 1 was when the new regulations came in, we were still developing the car, and the game doesn't actually tell you that these new parts that you're bringing in need to be protected. It doesn't tell you at all, and so a lot of the parts that we brought in towards the end of Season 1 we actually lost going into Season 2. So luckily we protected all the parts that we had prior, but there were about 3 parts at least, I'm pretty sure, where you know, we just didn't have those parts that we'd already developed, unfortunately, which was kind of sad. But yeah, I had a little brief look at the driver market. Of course, Lewis Hamilton is going into his last few races of his career, so he'll want to be picking up some big points for Mercedes going into this, and Mercedes are looking a bit stronger as of late, a bit more consistently up top. I'm pretty sure Lewis Hamilton was actually on the podium last time out, so Mercedes are looking quicker, which is not good for us. Obviously we've turned up the difficulty from 85 to 90, and that's definitely seemed a little more where my skill is at right now. Of course 85 was getting a bit too easy for us, but yeah, we have some new parts coming in to this Qatar Grand Prix. Of course, I think we got some new parts at the end of last episode, maybe, I'm not sure, but we've definitely got some parts coming in here. A reshaped combustion chamber and brake disc width. I don't know, but R&D department scenario last episode. I wish they brought these sort of stuff back to FIFA. But, the player career of FIFA or EA Sports FC has it, but I'm pretty sure the manager mode still don't have it, so that's a shame. But I'm glad F1 has it. I do like these little occasions here. And Lance Stroll, we were defending him in the press, and we got 2,500 acclaim, team acclaim for that. We got this one here, focusing on Lance Stroll's day-to-day routine. We are in the works of redeeming Lance Stroll, and of course he's going to have a lot of press around him right now, being the first driver other than myself to get points for the team, and it's great. Because it's great to see that the second driver is clearly, getting into the position to at least compete for points. Obviously, a big reason why he got those points in the first place was because we really pushed back the rest of the grid. Like, we defended like a lion to make sure Lance got those points. But the car is getting closer and closer. It's definitely, it's at the point where Lance can beat the Williams, he can beat the Haas, the Alfa Romeos, the AlphaTauris. So, we want to get him a bit closer to the Alpines and the Mercedes. Those are the next two we're chasing. Mercedes really far down. They are the second worst team using their own engine, and Williams are catching up. They've had some ultimate upgrades. So, yeah, Mercedes in a bit of trouble. Definitely going to look really, really embarrassing. And because it's not as if their engine is bad. Their engine's actually pretty decent. It's just they are not developing the car in ways that they really should. But yeah, I'm looking through the R&D now just to see what kinds of parts we could really go with, because we've got some R&D to work with, and we're basically just looking through, to be honest. We're not going to be able to buy any of these just yet until after the practice sessions in Qatar. But yeah, we're looking at the aero a little bit. We're looking at a lot of the vehicle performance comparisons just to see if we could push ourselves up a little bit more, because we want to catch up to Williams, we want to catch up to Haas. We're good enough to beat the Williams in both cars right now, purely based on driver skill, because of how good we're doing in the simulator with Lance, and of course, I mean, we're really outperforming the car, but that just shows how close the grid is, really, that we are able to compete this far. But now that we've turned the difficulty up, we're definitely going to fall down a little bit, I'm pretty sure, and the job now, going into the end of the season, is to pretty much retain this spot. Keep this spot, keep getting positions high up enough. We do have a 93-point gap to second place, so yeah. But there you go, Williams had some major upgrades going into the Singapore Grand Prix, and they stagnate a little bit. I wonder if they've hit their final upgrades of the season. I don't know, but it's good to see Williams back up there. Definitely competing a lot higher after Logan Sargent's points last season, and this season as well. He's got 4 points in both seasons, and then Albon got points in the last Grand Prix. So yeah, looking good for Williams. Haas, of course, very fascinating to see their drop off. They were one of the best cars on the R&D chart, but they just don't have the drivers to do it. Kevin Magnussen and Liam Lawson, they're just not good enough, quite frankly. Lawson is in real life, but the game doesn't know that. This game was made before any of that. So hopefully Lawson gets a bit of an overall boost if he's in the next game. I really want to see more than just F2 drivers in the next game, because we're not going to be able to get Felipe Drugovich anymore, which does suck, because I really like Drugo. We did try to give him as much of a chance as possible with these cars. It's a shame. It's a big shame. I don't want to see drivers like Drugovich and Lawson just cast aside. I really hope Codemasters, one of the things if they add it to career mode is adding reserve drivers into the game. That would be really cool, so then we could see the likes of Drugovich and Lawson and the Williams reserve driver. I forgot what his name was, but he's Argentinian. I haven't really paid close attention to the Williams Academy drivers, even though I do support Williams, but I know we've got an Argentinian in our ranks who actually drove in Abu Dhabi, I'm pretty sure. So, or was it post-season testing? It was definitely post-season testing. I'm not sure whether he drove in FP1 in Abu Dhabi. But either way, these are our first laps around Qatar, or this is our first lap around Qatar. And the big issue with Qatar in this game, I don't know if it's just my team exclusive. I might have to test it elsewhere, but we seem to run out of ERS pretty much all the time. Like the deploy basically locks. I don't like this feature, if I'm being quite honest. Even if it's realistic, I wish there was an option to toggle it off, because in races like this, I'm pretty sure it does definitely impede our pace. I'm not sure if the other AI are dealing with it neither. I have to assume they are, otherwise, you know, then it's going to dishearten me a little bit. But that first lap was okay. This second lap, a little bit mixed, of course. Red first sector, purple second sector, green in the third, and we end up with P3 by the end of that session, behind the two Ferraris. So Ferrari are looking strong, and yes, Sainz definitely will want to start in front of us. I think he's absolutely sick and tired of being behind us. He just seems to be running into us all season. But that's a good thing right there. Lance Stroll has made it to Q2. Kevin Magnussen in the Haas has actually managed to make it. So, bit of a surprise there. Théo Pourchaire in the Aston Martin almost eliminated. Again, I did talk about it briefly last episode, but I wonder what they're going to do with Théo. I wonder if he's going to get a second season in that Aston Martin seat. I remember Lance Stroll got kicked out of Aston Martin after scoring only 10 points in Season 1, as opposed to Fernando Alonso, who scored well over 100. We'll have to see. But, you know, for me, Lance is doing better than expected. Definitely getting into places I want him to be, and speaking of Lance, here he is, just going past him as we aim to begin our final qualifying of the session, and this could be used to our benefit here, as Lance Stroll could get our slipstream here, but Alexander Albon pretty much impedes Lance Stroll right there. He's really putting a stop to that, and I didn't actually notice at first. I was focusing on like switching my ERS deploy because I'm saving as much as possible in the outlap. But yeah, I wish I'd have seen that. I would have slowed down and then you know, tried to give Lance the best slipstream possible. But yeah, unfortunately that wasn't the case. But we improved quite a lot on our second lap here. Of course, the first lap was a scrub set of tyres lap. So this second lap is an improvement by almost a second, and it gets us a decent 5th place, which, you know, for our title challenge, if we want to stay ahead in these last 4 races, I'm pretty sure it's the last 4 now, pretty good. If we can finish in the top 6 consistently, I'm pretty sure we should be fine. We should be fine. I don't know. But that's only Q2. Lance Stroll made it to P13, so he does beat out Albon. He beats everybody that I really want him to beat. Well, I want him to get good enough to beat the Alpines, but we're still about 5/10 off of the Alpines as of right now. So I think for this season, we've pretty much hit the ceiling in terms of Lance Stroll and the second driver's pace. So we're going to continue to develop the car going into next season. As you probably noticed, we don't have any regulation changes, so the cars are just going to continue to improve, which is great for us, because this car has seen a big improvement over since Season 1 and over this season as well. You know, I think we started off at the bottom of the R&D chart still, but not for long. Like, we overtook AlphaTauri quite quickly. I think we were like just marginally lower than they were, and we've really improved now. We're really pushing the car towards the midfield, of course. It is surprising me how much Williams are, you know, developing their car, but they've probably got better facilities, and so they can get, you know, certain parts that require facility spec 3, like our chassis parts. Of course, we've pretty much gotten all the chassis parts that we could possibly get now, and so our aim now is just to get a as high of a finish in this championship as possible. Of course, we're 3rd in the Constructors. We really do need to keep an eye on McLaren, though. I don't think we're going to get 3rd in the Constructors. I think McLaren are just going to beat us out. We'll have to see, though. It happened last season as well. Like, we were ahead of McLaren for the majority of last season, and they actually beat us out right at the last race. So, not confident on that front, but a P4 is still really good for the Constructors. So, I'll take it. I don't know where we finished last season, but either way, like, it's going to be a decent amount of money, and I will try my best to keep that P3 in the championship, and the Drivers' Championship will give us a lot of money as well. But yeah, this is our final lap of Q3. It felt pretty good, but of course we are losing a lot of pace down the straights. I still haven't took enough of the rear wing. We've definitely added less downforce since the Season 1 version of the Qatar Grand Prix, but we're still running into the same issues. But we've come in clutch in that final lap. We came in clutch, and I think it was Charles Leclerc who actually beat us out in the Ferrari. So Ferrari are looking very, very, very strong going into this race. Carlos Sainz bottles it in this last qualifying session, and Oscar Piastri and Lewis Hamilton actually finish ahead of him. So that's what I said about Mercedes looking a bit stronger, and Lewis Hamilton, like I said, he's wanting to get bigger finishes since he's retiring this season. He's giving up on Mercedes. Mercedes are doing nothing but falling down the order, and he's had enough, and no other team want him. So yeah, that's it for Lewis Hamilton. So this season will be his swan song. We've already said goodbye to Fernando Alonso in Season 1. We're now saying goodbye to Lewis Hamilton in Season 2. And yeah, honestly good, to be quite honest. That'll make my future championship challenges a lot easier. I know with our difficulty moving up, Season 3 will definitely be more competitive. And I hope Red Bull don't get so many engine failures, because it's such a shame that Max Verstappen has now clearly lost a lot of confidence in the car and confidence in his own driving ability since Canada. Like, he's just really, really struggling in that RB20, and it's a shame to see. Like, I want to compete with Verstappen, and even like now in this qualifying, he's not doing that good, so we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, we're getting a major upgrade for the powertrain to get us to catch up to Alpine. We're still the second weakest engine in the powertrain department. So yeah, Qatar might be a bit difficult for us on the main straight. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the sprint.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Sainz, Russell, Norris, Perez, Gasly, Verstappen, Bottas, Ocon, Stroll, Albon, Teo Porcher, Magnussen, Joe, Hulkenberg, Liam Lawson, Tsunoda, Sargent, and Nick de Vries rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out. And we welcome Anthony Davidson to the commentary box. Ant, what are you looking forward to most this weekend? Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? And apart from that, keep an eye out for anyone getting a good launch from the midfield. You see it happen from time to time, and it can really throw a spanner into the races of the quicker cars and push them into a more risky strategy.
Well, here we go, starting P2 in the sprint, and we're obviously going to be using the soft tyres for these 7 laps, so the later laps are going to be a lot more difficult. I didn't mention it earlier, but the soft tyres are absolutely terrible around Qatar in this season for us, so yeah, and I think for everybody else as well, they really degrade quite quickly. But here we go, up to 5 red lights. And we are underway. Charles Leclerc has a horrendous start, and we are shooting out in front of him. Oscar Piastri in the McLaren has a good start as well. He's been quite quiet in that McLaren this season, getting some really respectable finishes. Definitely outperforming Bottas, so good for him. He goes into P2. Carlos Sainz P5, Lewis Hamilton P4, Charles Leclerc P3 after a horrible start for him. And now Oscar Piastri challenging us down the inside. Qatar, of course, very difficult to overtake at, and since we have a lot more space, we are going to win in that exchange. But pretty sure we're going to be a sitting duck down the straights, of course.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see
literally, right as I was about to say it. Yeah, not just the Renault power engine being the second slowest on the grid, or basically the slowest on the grid if you want to disregard AlphaTauri's Honda engine. Them being at the bottom is just like AlphaTauri, just normal AlphaTauri for F123. But yeah, even disregarding that, it's you know, we've got ICE issues, and yeah, we're going to be lacking power down the straights. And yeah, down to the setup, down to the weaker engine, we're going to be a sitting duck down these straights. And so we've really got to, you know, really look at our strategy more conservatively. So we're definitely looking at a mediums to hards strategy going into the full race, that's for sure. But it's a good start here on lap 1. Without DRS, of course, we seem to be doing well enough. But here we go, skipping ahead to lap 3. This is the first lap where we did have DRS, and this is what's happening. Oh my god, Charles Leclerc rockets past us, and yeah, he's already running away. Already 3 tenths up on us before we even reach the first corner. That is absolutely abysmal. That Ferrari is doing incredible around Qatar here. Sainz is underperforming, but Leclerc is looking to dominate the Qatar Grand Prix here, and I just don't think we're going to catch Leclerc. So now we just need to focus on retaining P2, you know, retaining these 7 points that we could earn by beating Piastri. And here we go, lap 6, going on to the final lap. We are running low on ERS, but definitely looking a lot better than it did in Season 1. If you guys remember, before our ERS upgraded, it was definitely having a tough time in Qatar, but definitely looking a little better, a lot better here. So that's good, and it'll be a good thing next season that we're going on to a more powerful engine as well with the Mercedes power unit. Yes, I am confirming that now. Red Bull, obviously, Red Bull Honda don't want to work with us. There might be a chance in future to work out a deal with Ford, but yeah, till they come into the season, come into F1, no chance signing with Red Bull. Renault, of course, that contract is done, dusted. We're not there. We're not working with them anymore. They're gonna stay exclusive to Alpine. Ferrari obviously not going to work with us because we have completely single-handedly jeopardized their drivers' championship season, particularly with Carlos Sainz. Of course, Sainz was odds-on favourite to be champion outside of us after a few races. So, and then obviously there's Verstappen as well. But yeah, for us, it only matters in terms of us. So it'll be Mercedes we're going to be signing with next season. So yeah, that's good. But now we go around the last corner, the final corner. We're going to use up all our ERS. But now we're in single digits. And Oscar Piastri's really pulling on us. He's pulling out to the side. Oh, and he passes us over the finish line. Shades of Brazil, which happens every bloody year, and it looks like it happens here in Qatar as well. Oscar Piastri yanks, yoinks P2 away from us right as we get to the finish line. P3 is still good though. We only lose a point. Thank God it's only the sprint, but yeah, for sure, definitely not feeling that good about that. Especially since we'll now be starting P3 at the beginning of the race. So the chances of us actually finishing ahead of Leclerc and Piastri, or at least getting ahead to start off with, not looking good. But Max Verstappen gets it to P8. Red Bull not looking good. Aston Martin, George Russell right there. Teo Pourchaire's not even in the top 14, unfortunately. Lance got overtaken by Alex Albon, unfortunately. But yeah, all in all, still looking good. 92-point gap to Charles Leclerc. So all we got to do now is pretty much maintain our pace going in to the end of the season. But without further ado, let's go to the grid.
Back to Qatar. Losail International Circuit is our venue, famous for races on 2 wheels through the years. Its F1 bow saw a Hamilton win. Who takes the flag today? Losail International was built for 2 wheels, but today we race on 4. It's a fast, flowing track, 3.3 miles, 16 turns, just the 1 DRS zone, but it is a long straight, and you can expect overtaking. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Oscar Piastri completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have the owner-driver, Hamilton, Sainz, Russell, Perez, Verstappen, Norris, Gasly, Bottas, Ocon, Albon, Stroll, Teo Pourchaire, the owner-driver, Joe, Tsunoda, Sargent, Liam Lawson, De Vries. And Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And Anthony Davidson joins us for this one. And great to have your company. There's no weather to worry about here. What will be going through the drivers' minds as they finish these last-minute preparations?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Well, not the best sprint result that we could have hoped for. We're now starting directly behind Charles Leclerc, and we're not going to be starting on those softs. Yes, we do have a spare set of softs going into this race, but I'm not going to use it. They're going to degrade way too quickly, and honestly, the effects of it are only going to be to our detriment in this first lap.
The formation lap gets underway and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out. As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Well, I hope it goes down as a memorable Grand Prix for this series, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure we've got a good strategy down. A lot of people around us will be starting on the softs. Oscar Piastri, a smart one alongside us, starting on those mediums as well. So when we come into the pits, definitely going to be at a bit of an advantage. But I don't know in terms of like when we're going to pit, other than you know, lap 9, I'm pretty sure, which will be the same as the soft tyre guys. So yeah, they will be going on to the mediums as well. So I'm unsure who's going to have the advantage going into the second stint, but I know we do in this first stint as we go up to 5. Red lights and we're underway. Here we go, and it is a decent start for everybody involved. Oscar Piastri gets an absolutely amazing start as my engineer gets on the radio to once again warn us about the ICE. So yeah, definitely going to be replacing that going into the next Grand Prix. We'll have 3 Grand Prix left after this, so we will not have to worry about that at all for the rest of the season. But we just cannot seem to get past Charles Leclerc, and it's all because of Oscar overtaking us right at the end of that sprint race, and because of that P2 start that he did get, he gets to go into P1. So it is a wonderful start for the Aussie in the McLaren here. Honestly, good for him. He's been quite quiet this season, but really consistent to the point that, like, you know, we're still worrying about McLaren in the constructors here. But I'm using my ERS to try somehow to get past Leclerc, but you can really see the power difference in the engine, that's for sure. So definitely going into Portimao, since that has a long straight as well, we're going to definitely want to replace that ICE. And I'm really excited for the next episode, because that'll be the first time I've ever driven around Portimao in this series. I've driven around it a few times in F1 World and F1 Multiplayer, but never in the career mode, never with this specific car, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as Oscar Piastri sets the fastest lap on the mediums here. Good for him. He's now getting challenged by Charles Leclerc. Is he able to keep him on the outside there? No, he's not. Charles Leclerc actually completes the overtake in a quite unorthodox place to do it, but very good overtake for the Monegasque in the Ferrari there, as Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes coming out of nowhere. That Mercedes has been absolutely horrible this season, and maybe it might be coming down to AI engine where that Mercedes are there, because Sergio Perez is definitely falling down quite a bit. And I don't really see Russell anywhere in that Aston Martin, so that might be down to engine wear. Of course, Piastri's this high up, Leclerc's this high up, Sainz has fallen, so yeah, for sure Sainz is definitely, you know, struggling with engine wear, surely. But yeah, we're able to maintain this P3 so far, but for how long? If Hamilton is able to overtake us, then we're going to be a sitting duck to Verstappen, we'll be a sitting duck to Perez and Sainz, and maybe even Russell. So we could be really falling down this grid by the end of the race if you know, we're not careful. So we're really going to have to probably try to undercut just to get some seconds ahead. But yeah, DRS has now been enabled. Maybe because we are behind, maybe that will help us stay in the race as well. But again, I'm not too sure. But we're getting really close to Piastri here. Piastri's actually slowing up, which is really strange. But I see the opportunity to dive down the inside, and we get to the apex first. I'm sorry, I'm still on the PS4. Oh my god. Yes, you can have a go at me in the comments now if you want. I still haven't got my PS5 set up because I've not finished the Saints Row 4 video. I'm sorry. It's almost there, but I keep putting it off. I keep procrastinating, and I keep missing doing this content, and so I do more episodes of it on the PS4, and we get more recording skipping issues. I am trying my best to let this be the last one, but if I end up doing Portimao on the PS4 as well, my apologies. But yeah, we're now P2. Piastri is definitely dealing with some mechanical issue here, as Lewis Hamilton has now managed to overtake him as well, and that was a bit scary looking at those three coming at me then. But Piastri has once again lost another position here to Sainz, although he is fighting Sainz quite a lot, and he actually does come out ahead, so he is still in P5. But Verstappen and Hamilton pretty close to me, of course, so I think it's only a matter of time before we get overtaken by them, because we have now lost Leclerc. Leclerc is going off into the distance. There's no catching him now. I'm trying to break the toe, but there's absolutely no way we're defending against Hamilton. And now Verstappen. No defending against either of these guys. I just barely even tried to defend against Verstappen then. I just knew it was kind of inevitable, so yeah. It looks like we're not finishing on the podium at all in this race, which does suck. But I feel like since Piastri's dealing with some mechanical issue, which is very unfortunate, I kind of feel, no, I don't mean kind of, I do feel bad for Oscar. He had such a good sprint race, and those points will be very valuable, but he's definitely dealing with a mechanical issue here. Carlos Sainz definitely dealing with some engine wear for sure now, because he still hasn't overtaken Piastri yet. Same with Perez. So, yeah, maybe we could use that to our advantage. But speaking of using it to our advantage, we're looking to make the overtake on Hamilton, and he is not budging. He wants us down the inside, and I'll say thank you very much, because that's where the apex is, you dumbass. So we will happily retake P3, so maybe the podium isn't that far away. Maybe Hamilton is now starting to struggle on those softs. I know Leclerc is definitely starting to struggle. He was really pushing, but Verstappen's actually caught up to him. So looks like Max Verstappen might be back. Max Verstappen back in the top, in the podium places. It's good to see, honestly. I was kind of sad that we didn't get a proper title challenge from anybody in the middle of the season. Like, we started to dominate, and yeah, it's kind of refreshing now that we've upped the difficulty to have this, of course. But our ICE is also worn, so like if we put a new one in, and like how's that going to look for next race? Will we still have an easy win? I don't know, but there's a red flag! Yuki Tsunoda went out. It wasn't worth mentioning, because who cares about AlphaTauri at this point in our career mode, but something else must have happened to cause a red flag. So, that's completely thrown my strategy right out of whack, or maybe not. In terms of getting an undercut, it's gone. That is not going to happen, unfortunately, with this race restart. But I was going to pit this lap anyway. These mediums are done. We could make the choice to go either softs or hards, and I think the best choice would be to go for hards, because if we go for the softs, we're not going to last long, let's be honest. Absolutely no chance. But here we go. From the get-go, and we're looking to get P1. We're going to squeeze right in the middle of Verstappen and Leclerc, and we are actually able to get into P1, and it's 3 wide going into the first corner. If you saw the race in real life, you know that doesn't go, and somehow everybody does survive, even though Verstappen does whack into me. The FIA give me a warning for Verstappen hitting into me for some reason, but P1 for us right now. So that race restart is the best thing that could have happened to us, because now we can buy more time out in front. I still don't think we're going to win this race. There's absolutely no chance. There is every chance that Leclerc is still going to overtake us at this point. So I'm not going to hold my breath, but it's nice to be out in front. It's nice to still have those good race starts. And I don't know what it is with F1 23. More often than not, the AI have bad race starts, unfortunately. Like, sometimes they have good ones, but it's more often than not that they don't. And Leclerc's had like three bad ones in a row for some reason. I really hope that's not a thing in the next game, because it just makes it just so much easier to get out in front at this point, and it's becoming kind of predictable, to be honest. Not even kind of, it is predictable, not just for you guys watching, but for me as well. Like, I'd rather have a bit more competition at the starting line. Even though I am having perfect starts every time, I would rather have other people around me have those perfect starts as well. But now, Leclerc's trying to overtake us, we're going to squeeze him out to the inside. Will we be able to squeeze him enough though? Yes, just about. So just for this lap, we are still going to have the lead, as we now try to stay in front of Charles Leclerc. He's going to actually try challenge us around the outside. So yeah, definitely showing how much quicker the Ferrari is, but he should have waited, he should have been patient, and Verstappen has overtaken Leclerc. So Verstappen's looking on form. He might be able to win this race. Who knows? If he can get past me, of course, which he will, let's be honest. I don't have the straight line speed at all. We're going to use our ERS to try and stay in front as much as possible. Verstappen's going to use our slipstream. I'm going to try and squeeze him out here, but yeah, he does not budge. Verstappen saw what I did with Leclerc, and he has learned from that, and we actually get hit by Leclerc there, so maybe that's a little bit of a receipt for what happened at the beginning of the race, where we hit him a couple of times. But yeah, we get a warning for exceeding track limits there, unfortunately, as Leclerc now looks to challenge down the inside. It's just not going to happen, mate, and he has to yield. But Sainz is back, so Sainz is definitely improving now. He got a good start ahead of Hamilton and Perez. Piastri has unfortunately fallen behind one of the Alpines. He's fallen behind Perez, so yeah, not good for Piastri. He's definitely fallen a little bit. Maybe that either that is a mechanical issue, or it just shows the overall race pace of the McLaren. And I'm gonna lean more towards the mechanical issue theory, because Piastri had a great start, to be quite honest, and then for some reason he ended up slowing down, which was really strange. So yeah, I don't know. But also, a lot of people around him might be on mediums, of course, and he will be on the hards, just like me. So maybe it might be down to that as well, or a mixture of both. I don't know, but Leclerc is now challenging us, and I think it's pretty much all said and done now. He's definitely going to be overtaking us. There's not much of a chance, not much of a point in fighting him at this point. He is taking a little bit longer to get out in front, but there he is, and I'm not going to fight him that much. We're actually just going to slot in behind him and try to keep this P3. I think this might be the most we could hope for right now. Just to try and defend against Sainz. I don't know. We have 6 laps to go, and I feel like we're just going to keep falling. Now Sainz, we're squeezing him out there. Like, you really think I wasn't going to be aggressive with Sainz? I've been aggressive with him all season. So, but I just don't think it's to no avail. It was pointless anyway. Yes, managed to squeeze him out, but that Ferrari is quicker. And it's only a matter of time before he does overtake us, of course. There he is, and we did squeeze him out a little bit, and this is why I don't like it, that things get in the way of my rear view mirror, because that was really, like, that was dirty from us there, and I wouldn't normally do that. I didn't mean to get right in front of Sainz, but hey, that buys us an extra lap out in P3, but I don't think we're getting it at this point. I think we could definitely beat Hamilton, because he's the only car that we've legitimately overtook after the race start, other than Piastri. So, like, down the straight, I mean, Hamilton is the only one that we've managed to really overtake. So, yeah, I think P4 might be the best we hope for. But there you go. Still out in front of Carlos Sainz, but he's going to overtake us here. We're going to try and squeeze him here, but look behind us. It's Perez and Hamilton. It's 3 wide. Hamilton hits us! Hamilton hit us! Lewis Hamilton hit us! He turned... Did he turn in on us? I don't know, but we had contact with Hamilton. He hit us, we hit Perez, and we've just gone off the track. And we have smashed into the wall. Oh my god. Here's the replay. Sainz overtakes us. It's 3 wide. And it looks like Hamilton actually turns in on us and hits us into Perez. And it just sends us flying off the track. We're going to have a little replay here on the onboard of Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes. Let's have a look. We're going to slow it down here. Watch that steering wheel. Keep an eye on that steering wheel. Does he turn in on us? Oh my god, yes he does. Hamilton turns in on us, hits us dead to rights, and he's not even going to get a penalty because the game's penalty system is just so broken. He's not going to get a penalty from that. He's going to fully get away with that. He should not have gone into those positions. He should have backed off. But he hit us into Perez, and honestly, Perez is extremely lucky to still be in this race as well. And Hamilton is extremely lucky to not get that penalty. What on earth was Lewis Hamilton thinking there? We have nothing against Lewis. He's retiring this season. Not once have we been in a championship battle. Is it jealousy? Is it jealousy because we're in a championship battle and he's not in his final season and he's retiring because of that? I don't know. What on earth was Lewis Hamilton thinking?
And they're heading to the top step. What a phenomenal effort from the team here in Qatar. That is a fully deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Well, it's a double Ferrari podium, and this is basically what they would have gotten in the entire season, if not for us, quite frankly. But that will do them really good in terms of their Constructors' battle. I think Ferrari are definitely going to win the Constructors' Championship. They've got a better car than the Red Bull, but Max Verstappen back on form. He's back on the podium. He will hopefully be looking to get back into this championship battle. It's definitely helped them quite a lot that I didn't finish the race, so we've lost 20 odd points to the nearest man, which was Leclerc. So yeah, we're really going to have to try even harder these next three races just to try and keep ahead. But Hamilton actually ends up getting P4. He doesn't get a penalty. That is BS. That is absolute BS. Lance Stroll finishes P14, so good for him. He finishes ahead of everybody that we really expect him to beat. Good for him. Alex Albon actually got a penalty. What was that for? That must have been the red flag. That might have had something to do with the red flag. I don't know. I wish I'd have looked at a replay for you guys, but yeah, we definitely lost a few points now. It's been cut down to about 66 points in terms of the championship battles. So yeah, everybody's looking to get back into it, and we can't afford another DNF like that. So I don't know what happened there. Lewis Hamilton's got to have eyes at the back of his head now, because if I see that man out on track, I am going to be so aggressive. You thought I'd been aggressive with Carlos Sainz? You ain't seen nothing yet, LH. But yeah, there you have it. That was the end of this episode of F123 My Team Career Mode. If you guys liked it, be sure to hit that like button as hard as you possibly can. Comment, share, and subscribe. And I think that's BS that we didn't get any extra money for a podium finish, because I'm pretty sure we finished on the podium in the sprint. How does that work, Cody's? Come on, bro. Come on. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.